Oliver Anthony has been blowing up.
Oh, yeah.
Blowing up everywhere. His song, Richmond, North of Richmond.
North of Richmond.
Yeah. Just say that 5 times. He's been blowing up, right? Getting famous, you know, all this other stuff. So, he was on Rogan recently, and I listened to the whole thing. Because I knew I wanted to talk about this. But I'm like, I need to listen to the whole thing and hear everything he says to kind of get a better opinion about him.
So you strapped in, poured yourself a big bowl of Kit Kat cereal?
I did not know. I did not, but I did strap in, though.
You strapped in.
So, okay, when he first came out, did a song, I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then I listened to the lyrics, and I'm like, I connect. I respect that. I feel it. I get it. That's how a lot of us feel. The song was good. I mean, not my style, but the message.
Very Americana, country folk.
Yeah, but the message was good.
Yeah.
The message was good. I'm like, okay, good for him. Good for him. Then you see with a lot of interviews from a lot of from people in the music industry that go, he's a plant. That's an industry plant. You know, because then they really break it down. That microphone's $1,000.
That guitar looked pretty fancy too,
right,
a little steel guitar.
And he goes, that was already recorded and then put over the visual thing. Which,
of him being nowhere in
right.
It
wasn't
backyard,
like It wasn't like he just start singing in his backyard. You're like, okay, and I'm like, okay, like I'm hearing you. All right. Then he made a YouTube. He's got a YouTube thing now, and now he's just pumping out videos, doing Q&As, talks, and I'm like,
I had 3 albums already recorded.
Right?
How about that?
Yeah, and then he's got a couple hundred views each video, and I'm like, okay.
This was called Poor People South of Richmond.
Right. So then I'm like, okay. So then I kind of started buying into that because then there was like record label deals, and he was like, oh no, I'm not in it for the money, but yet you made a YouTube and doing all this other shit, which I'm like. Then I started leaning into that.
And I don't know if it's true. I saw it because it was just on a meme that he got offered money to do the Super Bowl halftime show.
He did
the same thing. Like, I'll sing that song for free. I mean, because I guess Lizzo got canned. I mean, to be fair, she thought it was a Super Bowl of mashed potatoes and was going to back out anyway at the last second.
Right.
So,
she thought it was a KFC event, Super Bowl.
That's usually why I show up. And then I'm like, I do like football. So win-win.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, like maybe this guy's like, and just the fact that we're even debating or just even bringing up the fact that he's an industry, like,
his authenticity, even
right?
Yeah,
I like it sucks that nowadays with anything, like we can't just appreciate him for he made a song, it caught on, it had a good message, good for him. You know, he's out fucking working. He's just a normal guy doing construction or whatever. Right? He made a good song. It was catchy, good message, good for him. No. Anytime anyone fucking comes out of nowhere and has some level of success, we always have to, is he really what he says he is? Is he really doing what, you know what I mean? Because then that's the other argument with a lot of industry people. They're like, there's no way that someone from one song blows up that quick.
You're already on Rogan.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that was another thing. He's already on Rogan. So I'm like, I got to hear him.
Right. If he's that chill, hey, Oliver Anthony. Sorry, not you, Oliver. Oliver Anthony. Come join this podcast. Clearly you're humble. Super humble beginnings. So, like, come on.
So,
money doesn't matter. We're free.
So I listened to the whole thing from start to beginning.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, in the beginning, from my perspective, it was very cringy.
Okay.
Meaning this.
Was he just awkward socially?
No. He was actually very, like, normal. Like, just how me and you would talk. He didn't seem like...
He don't sound like this?
No.
He sings like that.
No, he wasn't nervous. He was just like, oh, it's cool, Joe Rogan. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, no big deal.
Right.
I'd be sitting there like...
Right. Well, that's you.
I'd be like Jimmy Fallon laughing at everything he does.
Yeah, well, so...
Please like me.
The beginning was very cringe because they were talking about different things, like items that he has and his truck and... Everything that they talked about, he was like, yeah, I think I might sell that. It might be worth something. Like, like he had a pair of work boots or whatever that he loves.
Put them on eBay.
And he's like, yeah, that's what he was saying. And he goes, Joe Rogan's like, well, just like slap some like glue on or whatever. And you can, I don't know. He
These
just
were
had,
Oliver Anthony's work boots.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
And he
still has that smell.
any little thing. And then he's got like a truck with like over 300,000 miles. And he goes, yeah, I think I might, sell it for like 50 grand, but that can go to like an auction or something. And I'm like,
Somewhere north of Richmond.
I'm just like, just any little thing that they talked about, he was like, yeah, I got one of those. I'm thinking about selling it. I'm like,
Yeah, he's about to get all brand new shit, bro.
I'm like, what the fuck?
He
I'm
knows
like,
what's
it was
up.
just a little too cringy for me. So I'm like, okay. They dabbled in the politics stuff. He kind of stayed straight in the middle. He didn't try to like lean one way or the other.
Just like a plant.
Yeah.
I'm feeding into it now.
So it wasn't boring, but it wasn't like, oh wow.
It wasn't mind-blowing, yeah.
Nah, but after I got done listening to it, I'm like, I don't know how to. I don't know what to make of this guy. I'm like confused. I feel like it's.
Look, if he gets a COD skin or Fortnite skin, now we know. Then we know for sure he's a plant.
Unless if he makes a trans comment, then or protect the kids,
Yeah.
then they'll get deleted.
That's
But
true. Then you're done.
I don't know what to make of him. I don't, because I didn't, after listening to 2.5 hours of him, I didn't feel one way or the other. Like I said, besides that cringiness in the beginning, I'm like, yeah, he's giving me like regular everyday dude vibes, and he just wants like some like farmland or whatever. Like there's really only
Could
one.
be it. He wants the simple
But
life.
I'm like, but then it's kind of like you're kind of going back.
You put
'cause,
yourself out there, though, so is
you
that
are,
what you wanted?
but
or
now you're making more shit.
appearances,
You're
and
making
more interviews,
shit.
and more songs. Yeah, you're
Right.
making the rounds, but you want to be like just left right.
Just leave me alone.
Right,
but-
apparently not. It's like, was it Prince Harry and Meghan Markle? Like, we want our privacy while we showcase our interview with Oprah across
Right.
the world. Like, yeah, you really want privacy.
Right.
You want to not be seen. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, when I first heard the song, I will agree with you. Not my kind of music, but I can appreciate, I do like some folk music. And I do like a lot of acoustic stuff, so this was kind of a nice little combo. And yeah, look, the content of the song and watching everybody's reactions, and everybody like, oh, I will say, miners on an island, not just on an island somewhere. Like, that was a great line. That
Right.
needed to be said for sure, because we're tired of fucking saying it, and I think a lot of people are as well.
Yeah.
But all that stuff about, like, how the government doesn't care about you, okay. And maybe, look, and it might be just me. I know a lot of people have their head in the clouds or up their asses, whichever it is, or buried in the sand for that matter. I didn't need that fucking song. I didn't
Right.
need that song to be like, you know what? He's right.
Right.
This is shit that I have been saying since I was 15 in American history, in American government class, in economics class, all that shit.
Right.
I don't need this fucking song. And how many other countless songs have we heard that are along the same lines? We all know this. And I feel like, and I'm going to go ahead and say, I feel like the majority of us get that. A lot of people that I do talk to when we talk about current world affairs or politics or geopolitical issues, we all come to that same agreement. They don't really care about us. They're just figureheads. They're lining their wallets for them and their rich criminal friends on Wall Street and in politics, Congress, the Senate, all the bullshit. So none of us, in my opinion, needed that song, and yet we got to do this. Oh man, oh no, it's a beautiful song. I get it and all that stuff, but I'm just like, dude. Like, to me, it's not mind-blowing, and considering how ordinary, according to you, he was on Rogan, he's not very mind-blowing either.
No.
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 Just
I
a great
mean-
singer. Don't get me wrong. Great singer. Plays the guitar well. I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I dig that kind of
I
stuff.
mean, he did say that he found, God. And,
Right, I heard that too. He was an addict, and then he found Jesus, and I don't know if it was on the milk carton or at the bottom of the bottle, but, I've been in some shit before.
Well.
And I wasn't born again to find it. I had, what's that thing called? Willpower, right?
Well,
Willpower.
Well, But
For some things, not for all of them.
I get it. I get other artists saying that he's an industry plant because of a jealousy factor
That too.
that he blew up.
That
and
he
they
was a
didn't.
nobody, and that he's still being humble. Maybe they're trying to paint him in such a
But-
light.
But here's a couple things. One, the right wing media especially took this song and ran with it. Like that was their fucking
They put it,
national
I guess,
anthem.
in front of the Republican convention. Like
Yep.
they played it, and
Yep.
he had words about that. He doesn't want that played there.
Right.
The same way Eminem doesn't want fucking Vivek Ramaswamy, whatever.
Which I get
to
because he botched it. I get it.
So cringy,
I get
man.
it.
It's like watching your mom rap.
But here's my thing is there's a lot of artists that sing, political songs. And there's one rapper, Canadian rapper, Tom McDonald, who's been doing it for years. Right? And he's not
I've never heard of
right,
him.
but he's not a bum. Like he has Billboard songs and he does well
Okay.
on YouTube and stuff like that. And he does political songs for years. And there is a market for that.
Public Enemy's been doing political rap.
But this in particular is just weird how out of all, and again, Oliver Anthony's not the only artist to make songs like that.
Right.
And so out of that market, they just pick him out, like that song out of everybody else. I'm like, I don't know. Like, it just seems kind of like, really? And then when you look at, he wasn't singing, the microphone and the whole backyard
I know,
thing.
exactly.
I'm like,
You got Ginger Jack coming out of the rootin' tootin' forest to come sing to you. Who's this going to appeal to? NASCAR fans.
no, that doesn't bother me. It's just a fact that, like I said, it's not like,
How it got politicized,
Well,
even though the message is something that could
part
fit
of it
for
too.
everyone.
Right, part of that too,
I
but...
think all of us are against Well, most of us are against pedophilia. I can't
Yeah.
speak for the
Except
entire
for the-
country, but,
But, like I said, just out of, it's not like no one was making political songs and then he made it.
Right.
And he was the first one. There's been plenty of artists that have done that for years.
Yeah.
And it's gotten hotter because, there's a market for it. People want, just...
Listen to punk rock, kids.
Yes, but I don't know. I'm just, like I said, I'm taking a step back. I'm like, I want to believe that he's genuinely
I would love that.
doing it
That'd
for the right reasons. He just felt it in his heart. And it's sad that we have to nowadays. We can't just appreciate and applaud someone for finally making it, being successful, or whatever. We always have to be like, what's the motive? Are you really who you say you are? And all this other shit. It's sad.
Right.
It's sad. I want to believe this guy, but something in me is like, you're
Something
not.
fishy.
Yeah, not saying like I'm not saying like he's a fucking like criminal or anything.
No,
like
no,
that,
no,
but
no, that's-
but
that's-
I just
yeah.
I think he's like a Taylor Swift prop. Like, he's got a company behind him, and they're promising him and gonna give him exactly what he wants, and just spew this message.
But I do agree. It is a shame overall that the message itself is politicized as in left and right terms, where it seems to be talking about all kinds of things that all of us can sort of relate to.
Right.
Whether you feel any kind of way about him as an artist or an individual, it really doesn't matter, because I feel like all of us to some point can agree with what he said. And it's, Richmond, north of Richmond. And that means it's like what I've been saying. Every administration, it's continuous. So it's just saying what's been happening.
Right.
Like I said, I didn't need that fucking song, but there it is. So some of you that may have become somewhat enlightened to that happening, I guess I'll say it's a good thing that he had such a powerful reach. But people that want to start fighting over it and claiming that it's some kind of, QAnon eargasm. I mean, really?
It just
You
depends.
didn't listen to it if that's what you got from it.
But here's the thing: people react to other people differently. Like like for me, for instance, it literally took, for me, it took Trump to be in office for me to realize the real sham of our government, right?
Oh.
So maybe there's some people that, for whatever reason, for whatever it is, it
Still
took
wrong.
Oliver Anthony to be like, to make it obvious.
That's
You
fair.
know, to some people it takes Tucker Carlson, others is Bill Maher, others is Dan Bongino, whatever it is.
George Carlin, that's what did it for me.
Right. It just so.
It's like 13 years
So
old.
I think
He's
that
right.
I think that plays a part of it as well. Just some people feel like they relate to him, and that message translate and go, oh. So
That's pretty good. I like that. Good points.